Clashes broke out in West Bengal in Bhangar, South 24 Parganas, Bardhaman between CPI and TMC workers. However, Mamata government downplayed the violence, saying only one person has died so far. State Election Commission called an all-party meeting to discuss the panchayat polls.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 44 and minimum 39 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 32 and minimum 28 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 41 and minimum 30 degrees. Bengaluru, maximum 33 and minimum 24 degrees. Chennai, maximum 36 and minimum 30 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 38 and minimum 32 degrees.
Twitter founder claims Modi Sarkar threatened to shut down Twitter in India. Big political storm over Dorsey's claim. Modi government counters Jack Dorsey.
The entire characterization and entire narrative of Jack Dorsey's is false.
Opposition seethes, says India's democracy exposed.
This proves that we have dictatorship in garb of democracy in the country.
BJP hits back, questions Rahul Gandhi.
इनके और इनके साथियों के द्वारा भारत के खिलाफ एजेंडा चलाने वालों को आशीर्वाद मिलता है।
The big Dorsey versus Centre war explodes. The big focus on 5 Live.
Good evening and thanks so much for being with me once again here on 5 Live. I'm Shiv Aroor. The big fight that's been triggered by Twitter's founder Jack Dorsey, is it drama or is it the real thing? We're going to debate. I'm going to be putting out my thoughts and some facts as always here on 5 Live. Thanks for being with me. Here are the headlines. Prime Minister Modi lashes out at opposition at Rozgar Mela, compares rate card party versus safeguard party, also launches Parivarvad attack on the opposition. I've got a big debate on that coming up at 5:30. Violence, clashes and showdown over panchayat polls in Bengal. Fresh clashes erupt in Bardhaman and South 24 Parganas. BJP versus ally Shinde Sena in Maharashtra over newspaper ads this morning showing Eknath Shinde as the chosen chief minister in 2024. Shinde Sena denies printing the ad, says Shinde's supporter published it because it takes a swipe at Devendra Fadnavis. Minor reduction in speed of Cyclone Biparjoy as it moves towards the Gujarat coast. Home Minister Shah chairs review meet on preparedness.
लगभग सामान्य चेतावनी प्रोटोकॉल के लिए जितनी भी चीजें तय की गई थी ये सभी पूर्ण है.
All eyes on Modi US visit. President Joe Biden to host the Prime Minister for an intimate dinner during his visit to the US that begins next week. When Twitter founder Jack Dorsey visited India in 2018, he had met with the Indian Prime Minister, but the headlines had not suited Jack Dorsey very well. Because at the time that he visited India, it was in the middle of a very ill-tempered fight that Twitter was waging with the Indian government. Some of it for the right reasons, some of it perhaps for the wrong reasons. That's for both sides to decide. But the crux of the matter was basically the Indian government wanting certain content, certain accounts censored or withheld because of law and order reasons, and Twitter upholding what it said was free speech, pushing back against the Indian government. It led to a great deal of friction. You remember how then IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad lost his ministership amidst all that bad press and global negative publicity over India versus Twitter. Well, now Jack Dorsey, the man you see in these pictures, has woken up months after selling Twitter for billions of dollars to someone who is his ideological diametric opposite, Elon Musk. Jack Dorsey has now pointed an angry finger at India, saying, this is a dictatorship. This is a country that threatened to shut down Twitter in India. This is a country that threatened to raid the employees of Twitter amidst the farmer protests because Twitter refused to shut down accounts at the request of the Indian government. We're going to do a little bit of a fact check here on 5 Live, and we're also going to debate it. But first, here's what happened in the wake of Jack Dorsey deciding to point that finger at India.
A protest at makeshift camps along the borders of New Delhi, stretched to the global horizon by tiny hashtags. The year-long farmer agitation over 3 contentious farm laws ran parallel in the borderless virtual world. A year and a half after the year-long agitation ended, with the Modi government repealing the legislation in question, Twitter's famous founder and former CEO Jack Dorsey has alleged the social media platform came under pressure at that time from Indian authorities to block accounts covering the farmer protests.
India, for example, India is a country that had many requests of us around the farmers' protest, around particular journalists that were critical of the government.
Jack Dorsey resigned as Twitter's chief executive in November 2021 right before selling Twitter to Elon Musk. Coincidentally, the month Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced the withdrawal of the 3 farm laws. The former Twitter CEO alleges that the Indian government even threatened to shut down Twitter in India and raid employees' homes back then.
It manifested in ways such as we will shut Twitter down in India, which is a very large market for us. We will raid the homes of your employees, which they did. We will shut down your offices if you don't follow suit. And this is India, a democratic country.
The Modi government has rejected Dorsey's claims, calling them an outright lie, an attempt maybe to cover up Twitter's own dubious and questionable global record.
I'm very amused and bemused and certainly aghast that CEO like Jack Dorsey would go on television and say an outright lie. The fact is the following, that Twitter was in violation of Indian law, laid down Indian law from 2020 to 2022. So the entire characterization and entire narrative of Jack Dorsey's is false, is premised on a falsehood.
The government insisted no one from Twitter was raided or sent to jail. The platform continues to operate to this day. Violation of Indian law, however, did attract action. Dorsey's claims threw the spotlight back on the Twitter files. That Twitter's new owner Elon Musk and his allies promoted last year as bombshell revelations proving that Twitter under Jack Dorsey intentionally muzzled conservative voices for political reasons.
ट्विटर को खरीदा भी गया दूसरे व्यक्ति के द्वारा द ट्विटर फाइल्स में खुलासा हुआ कि किस तरह से इस प्लेटफॉर्म का दुरुपयोग किया जाता था, पक्षपात किया जाता था। उस पर जैक डॉर्सी आज तक कोई जवाब नहीं दे पाए क्योंकि उनका चेहरा बेनकाब है।
The opposition, however, isn't convinced. It called crackdown on social media handles critical of the ruling elite, part of the government's strategy against political dissent.
हर बार दमन करने के लिए मोदी सरकार क्यों खड़ी हो जाती है? अब समझ में आता है कि अगस्त 2021 में जब राहुल गांधी जी का अकाउंट ब्लॉक हुआ था और ये सब सरकार के कहने पर होता, और ये सब इस देश में दमन और अहंकार सरकार जो कर रही है उसका प्रमाण करता है।
A free flow of hard-hitting back and forth over free speech once again between the government, the opposition and the former head of a global tech giant. Bureau Report, India Today.
Take a look now at what Jack Dorsey has specifically alleged versus what the government's counter-claim is. Now remember that these are claims and counter-claims being made. Jack Dorsey, the Twitter CEO at that time, now says got requests on critical accounts during the farm stir and requests from the Indian government to block them. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who's currently the union minister in charge of IT, says the government is and was obligated to try and remove misinformation and fake news, and this was in pursuance of that. Jack Dorsey says, we were told that the government will shut down Twitter in India if we don't comply with those requests. Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar now says Twitter did not comply with the laws. But very importantly, Twitter was not shut down. It's still alive and well in India. Jack Dorsey says that Twitter was threatened with raids on employees and a complete shutdown of its operations here in India. That's patently a falsehood. No individual was raided at any point of time. Rajiv Chandrasekhar says no one was raided and there was no shutdown of Twitter, both of which are actually facts. Now, the Twitter files expose, which was something that came out after Jack Dorsey sold Twitter to Elon Musk. Just take a look at some of the allegations against this man who now sits pretty and points a finger at India, making all manner of ridiculously false claims, including that the homes of Twitter employees were raided, which is false. Remember that the Hunter Biden story was completely censored on Twitter. You won't find anything about Hunter Biden from that time on Twitter. Links to Hunter Biden's secret email story was censored by Twitter. It was removed by Twitter. It was blacklisted by Twitter. Links to the story were marked as unsafe and then they were removed. So nothing about Hunter Biden anywhere on Twitter. The transmission of the Hunter Biden story via DM was also blocked. This direct messages, that story, not allowed on Twitter. White House spokesperson under the Trump administration was locked out of their account for tweeting about the Hunter Biden story at that time. Very, very selective. What we're trying to suggest to you here, viewer, is that the man making these allegations against India is a man who has a deep ideological leaning, and he has an axe to grind against India because the Indian government made him look stupid in front of the world. Now, there are secret blacklists as well that have been exposed by the new management at Twitter under the old management by Jack Dorsey. Employees built blacklists under Jack Dorsey. They prevented disfavored tweets from trending. They controlled the narrative on Twitter. The visibility of entire accounts that were inimical to Jack Dorsey's own ideology were actively limited without informing users. This has been proven, by the way. Stanford's Dr. Jay Bhattacharya was placed on a trends blacklist for arguing against the COVID lockdown. Popular right-wing host Dan Bongino was slapped with a search blacklist. The accounts of conservative artist Charlie Kirk was set to do not amplify so that his reach and audience was limited. The very famous deplatforming of Donald Trump. Never before in the history has something like this happened. The banning of Donald Trump, the expunging of Donald Trump from Twitter. His tweets were censored by Twitter executives in the run-up to the November 2020 election. Twitter executives regularly engaged with US government law enforcement agencies and representatives. Only serious concern over banning Trump came from a junior person in Twitter. Twitter deviated from its long-standing policy of public interest exceptions by taking all these harsh moves. Bear with me, I'm barely done. Moderating Hindu nationalism is something they were accused of, but did not moderate a lot of other stuff. Twitter got 4,000 accounts from the US think tank Disinformation Lab, suspended. The think tank accused handles of engaging in inauthentic behavior in the support of Hindu nationalism. Handles reported turned out to be real people, mostly US nationals. So this is just a smattering of the evidence of dubious hypocrisy, selective application of Twitter's own policies, the ideological adulteration of management inside Twitter, a man who sold Twitter for billions of dollars to someone who was ideologically the diametric opposite of himself, a man who tried to wear two hats, one as a CEO and one as a pseudo-left liberal activist, now pointing fingers at the world's largest democracy and saying, your law of the land was inconvenient to me, and that's why I'm going to take time out from my billion-dollar holiday and I'm going to make India look bad in front of the world. Unfortunately for Jack Dorsey, the world knows all about him, and the world knows his hypocrisies. Let's go straight across. Nevertheless, the fact that Jack Dorsey has spoken out has been welcomed with open arms in this country. And let me make a very important caveat before I start this debate. I'm joined by Tom Vadakan of the BJP and Lavanya Balal of the Congress Party. Welcome to the both of you. Good to see you. Thank you for your time. A quick disclaimer and a caveat right at the start. As a journalist, it is our experience and my experience that governments across the board, without exception, they have from time to time, on occasion, been unfriendly towards what others see as freedom of speech. Governments tend to want to use their powers at certain times in order to censor content online. They see themselves as having the power to do so, and more often than not, this has led to friction. Sometimes they're right in trying to do so. Sometimes the reasons for doing so are completely unwarranted. But that is the case, and there are no exceptions. Let's start this off. Lavanya, I'd like to start with you. The Congress has taken Jack Dorsey's words to suggest that this is another new indicator of the catchphrase that the Congress has made popular this election season, which is the death of democracy. Why do you say that, Lavanya, when Jack Dorsey's claims are both immediately refutable? A, he says that Twitter's employees were raided. Nobody was raided. He says that we were threatened with a shutdown, which would be a reasonable thing for any government to do if a big influential company refused to comply with Indian laws. And let it be known that Twitter has never been shut down in this country.
Hi, good evening. I also noticed you made a statement about Jack Dorsey being pseudo-left liberal. I'm very curious as to know how did you come to those deductions. But then we have questions with Jack Dorsey as well. We want to know under whose pressure did he suspend Mr. Rahul Gandhi's account for a few weeks? And then why was it suppressed for the longest time? We want to know the answers for that.
Why aren't you asking Twitter that? You should be asking Jack Dorsey that.
We are asking Jack Dorsey. That's what I said. We want answers from Jack Dorsey. We want answers from everybody. Under whose pressure was this done? We also want to know why was there a raid on 24th May 2021 during the farmers' protest on Twitter? Because if you notice at that point of time,
but not on any individual. Not on any individual.
I request you to give me the courtesy of letting me finish my sentences, please.
Lavanya, greatest of courtesy, you have all the time here. Remember, there is absolute freedom of speech on my show. I am simply saying that the two claims that have been made by Jack Dorsey are both 100% false. They have no meaning. That's what I'm saying. If you want to know why Rahul Gandhi's account was suppressed, you are free to take it up with the government, with Twitter, or you can even approach a court, which would be the normal thing to do.
So your question was?
My question is, why is the government firing off Jack Dorsey's shoulders when this man has proven to be a dubious hypocrite and a liar?
So are you saying when Mr. Narendra Modi tweets to Jack Dorsey that it is a fantastic platform and it is a great place to interact, that Mr. Modi was wrong?
I don't speak for Narendra Modi. I don't speak for
Then you
Narendra
shouldn't
Modi.
speak for anybody. You shouldn't speak for anybody.
I don't. That's the mistake you're making. You seem to think that I'm speaking for one side or the other. I'm not. I'm asking you a straight question because leader after leader of your party is picking up what Jack Dorsey has said and making it ammunition to suggest that India's democracy is dead, Lavanya. That's the question I'm asking you. When both the things he has said are completely false, I don't care two hoots whether Narendra Modi thinks Twitter is great or not. I will say that straight here on national television.
Let me finish my sentences, please. The Twitter is a platform where we have seen how the BJP manipulates information, has posted doctored videos multiple times.
That's a separate issue, Lavanya. Come on. That is a separate
if you let
issue.
me finish, I'm sorry.
That is not the same issue. That's not the same topic.
If I could finish my thought process, if I could finish my sentences,
you're not answering my question.
But if you want me to answer, or if you do not want me to respond to the allegations you're making, please let me know. I will not attempt to make a response.
Lavanya, with the greatest of respect, you're going off on a tangent.
I'm sorry.
Fake news, misinformation is a separate debate altogether.
You're not letting me speak.
I will.
You're not
please
letting
continue.
me speak.
Please continue. But on Jack Dorsey.
I am talking about Jack Dorsey and Twitter. I'm talking about how the BJP has been using Twitter to expunge Tejasvi Surya's statements, right? These are the same people who have requested Twitter to expunge his statements. These are the same people who at one point of time said Jack Dorsey's Twitter is the best place to be for communication. These are the same people who have a veto power on a FB platform where their person can veto information. It is out in the public knowledge that there was a raid on 24th May 2021 to the on the Twitter offices right after they started.
But not on employees, which is what Jack Dorsey said.
Twitter offices right after they started giving platform for the farmers who were protesting about the farm laws. We also know how many times our accounts has been suspended and suppressed. At this point of time, when a company claims the ruling party of a nation has interfered with how the platform should function, it is the duty of the opposition parties to demand answers. And that is what Congress is doing right now.
I think you're right when you say that it's the opposition's job to demand answers. Every question that you've just asked is a legitimate one. Might I also add that Twitter briefly suspended the account of the serving IT minister Ravi Shankar Prasad in the middle of their entire Twitter war? That was how ill-tempered the entire face-off between the government and Twitter actually was. But that is a separate issue. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that Twitter has chosen one side over the other. But I am saying the fact that Jack Dorsey's statements are so plainly refutable on facts is the reason why one is wondering why it has become such a political issue with which to bash the government. Surely the Congress party and the BJP, of all the things that they disagree with, will agree that the law of the land must prevail. And if there is a law and order situation, no matter what your politics, efforts need to be made to try and control the situation. Has the Congress not done so? Madam, you are speaking to a journalist whose own Twitter account was blocked by your government. Tom was in the UPA at that time. Your government blocked me, along with many others, for tweeting news about a developing situation that was taking place in Mumbai concerned with the Assam riots. The point I'm making is all governments do this. When there is a law and order situation, all governments do this, Lavanya. Quick answer, then I'll go to Tom.
The governments are not supposed to suspend or get their opposition leaders' accounts suspended. And that is what has happened with the Twitter. And that is why we are seeking answer from the government if they interfered with the Twitter's decision to suspend Rahul Gandhi's account.
Okay. Tom, would you like to answer on in the wake of what the damaging claims made by Jack Dorsey, some of which are patently rubbish? How would you respond? Because the Congress party says this is an opportunity for the opposition to demand answers, legitimately so, from the government. For the opposition to demand answers, legitimately so, from the government.
Shiv, I have a problem with the audio, but I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Shiv, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Tom. Go ahead.
Yes. This gentleman, Jack Dorsey, yes, this person called Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, is a man of commerce. He is, I dare say, on television that this man has been instigated by the trip of Rahul Gandhi to US, and this is part of the narrative that is being built up by the Congress. The activism of the spokesmen are all indicative of the new handle that they've got and the new narrative that they have. The entire US trip was designed, planned, and with intent to instigate the state of democracy in India. The line being taken by Dorsey is almost on similar lines. Why was he silent for so many days? He was quiet, and now, while Rahul Gandhi is coming back or is still in US, the line is almost very similar. Now, your Twitter account was suspended. Then you had the minister's account suspended. The Congress party never asked questions. It is when Rahul Gandhi's account got suspended for whatever reason that the Twitter must answer. This is not for us to answer why they did what. But the point here is we see a direct connect of Rahul Gandhi's trip to US. And this is instigated by that kind of meeting with deep state. And this man has been instigated.
To be very, Lavanya, you can respond to that. I am not so much concerned by the timing, to be honest, because conspiracies barely interest me. The fact is that the things that Jack Dorsey have said are debatable and refutable. But yeah, you heard what Tom Vadakan said. Lavanya, go ahead. How would you respond?
Yeah, Tom Vadakan, I would like to respond to you. Rahul Gandhi's account was suspended. According to the Twitter, the statement was he violated the Indian rule, which says you shouldn't post a photograph of the victims of assault. And it was not a photograph of the assault victim. It was, which was in the newspapers that was posted on Rahul Gandhi's account. Let me also remind everyone here, Advocate Sanjay Hegde's account was shut down and he went to Delhi High Court, and Twitter spent loads of money to ensure that his account will not be reinstalled at all till, of course, the new management came into place. Now, the question is, Sanjay Hegde has been a very huge critic of the current government.
He's hardly credible.
Suspended because the government wanted his account suspended? We want to know the role of the government because we know how the government functions. Like you yourself said, Shiv, a lot of times government makes requests to these companies for the greater good of the nation. So we want to know what was the greater good of the nation that BJP was thinking of when they interfered in the functioning of Twitter, when they bullied Twitter. That's all we are asking.
The BJP is asking, the BJP is kind of, sniping at you, Lavanya, and saying that you guys only get triggered when something happens to Rahul Gandhi. When ministers of yours accounts have been suspended in the past or shadow banned or whatever, then you guys didn't hit the streets. When Rahul Gandhi's account gets suspended, then you guys get triggered.
No. BJP is only focused on Rahul Gandhi, even though he's a disqualified MP. Look at the amount of time, and energy they are spending on focusing on Rahul Gandhi. I mean, if he's so irrelevant, like the BJP claims he is, they shouldn't be talking about him. But they spend 24 hours of a day talking about him. But my point was simple. For what greater good of the nation did the BJP interfere with the functioning of the Facebook and Twitter?
Okay, you've asked some legitimate questions. As far as Jack Dorsey is concerned, one wonders whether the context, holds up, because Jack Dorsey himself has had a very, very dubious kind of record. And I think Lavanya is right when she says, any praise of Jack Dorsey, must have been matlabi at that point of time. When the going is good, you praise these tech bros from Silicon Valley. When the going is bad, they come at you out of the woodwork and accuse you. That's the way democracy works. But I think all of us can agree that the relationship that the Indian government has with these companies, there needs to be a certain bipartisan agreement across party lines that this is not about the death of democracy. This is about whether these companies comply with Indian law or not. Let me just take you through a few examples of Jack Dorsey's own time at Twitter as the CEO and founder. In 2018, he had shadow banned a series of US conservative accounts. Now, Jack Dorsey has never hidden what his ideological leanings are, and credit to him for that. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. In 2018, he was criticized for posing with, smash Brahminical patriarchy posters when he had visited India. It also showed his cluelessness and arrogance regarding one of Twitter's biggest markets. February 2019, he was summoned by an Indian parliamentary panel. October 2019, took a decision to ban all political ads on Twitter. January 2021, famously deplatformed Donald Trump from Twitter. Never something like that had ever happened before. January 2021, refused to take action against fake news over the farm stir. So this is actually another refutation of what Jack Dorsey says. He says the government clamped down hard, said we will shut down Twitter if Twitter does not remove some of this misinformation. But much of that information that the government wanted censored was never censored by Twitter, and Twitter was never shut down. So that's another black mark on what Jack Dorsey is saying. March 2021, he blocked a New York Post story about Hunter Biden. May 2021, the Delhi police visited Twitter offices over the manipulated media label on Amit Malviya's tweet. 2022, Vijaya Gadde, the legal head of Twitter who censored the New York Post article on Hunter Biden, was sacked by Elon Musk. She was also the person key responsibility taken as far as deplatforming Donald Trump was concerned. So there are many dubious and hypocritical things that have taken place under the Jack Dorsey regime. And now he seems to want to paint India as a dying democracy, a neo-Nazi state that tried to wrestle with a true blue Silicon Valley company and get it to censor stuff. But Lavanya, once again, I have disproved what Jack Dorsey said about raiding individuals of Twitter. He lied through his teeth when he said they threatened our employees and said we would raid them, which they did. It never happened. The police raided the Twitter offices, like you've said. The second thing that he says about clamping down on us and making us delete farm law tweets, those even the ones that were suspended were brought back, and Twitter was never shut down. Twitter was never threatened with being shut down in India. So what is Jack Dorsey talking about, and why is the Congress making that seem like, oh, that's proof that democracy is dead? If anything, it proves democracy is alive. Twitter stood up for free speech of the farmers.
Shiv, he talks about the threats that were made against Twitter, wherein they said, we will shut down Twitter if you do not toe the line set to you by
But
the
they
BJP
didn't toe the line,
party.
Lavanya. They did not censor those tweets. Those tweets were all brought back.
No, you just also mentioned about how the accounts were brought back, how they were reinstated. Why were the accounts suspended in the first place? That is the question. So were the accounts suspended because Jack Dorsey did toe the line?
The government said it was because of misinformation, and because it was a law and order situation at Delhi's borders. Some of those tweets were being... Now, I'm not supporting this. Remember, I am a free speech absolutist, ma'am. I hate any kind of censorship. I am saying the government had its reasons for saying so. Twitter removed them but brought them back, which means Jack Dorsey is still lying.
No, Shiv, here is my argument. The government did not have any reason to suppress the protest of the farmers. They were farmers protesting for their right. There was no necessity to suppress.
It was not
their
suppressing
voice.
the farmers' tweets. It was suppressing certain accounts spreading misinformation.
No, they were
alleged
also
misinformation.
Jack Dorsey says how during the farm protests, the accounts were actually suppressed. Now, these were accounts which were talking about the farm protests. These were not accounts calling for violence or call for action or any type of violent activities. Now, there were a lot of farm protest activities which were being posted, which were being suppressed, which were being suspended. Now, why would the government be so scared of farm protests. I mean,
Because
this is
of
the
law
same
and order.
government which...
Because of law and order.
This is the same government which...
The same reason why your government... The same reason, madam, the exact same reason, Lavanya. The same reason why the Congress government in 2012 blocked 39 YouTube videos, 16 Twitter accounts, 24 Facebook accounts. The same reason, law and order.
This is the same government which switched off the mics of the MPs while the farm bills were being...
Come on, you're now jumping from one issue to the other.
Any kind, no. Without any debate.
I've just proven to you that your government has also done it.
This is the same government which did not want any kind of discussion around the farm bills. They did not want a dissent. And this is not the first time. Look at their precedent, Shiv. Look at what is happening with the women wrestlers. Look at how the journalist who questions Smriti Irani was fired from her job. So there is no way you can compare Congress and BJP.
Now you're going to go through all of this, and Tom Vadakan will probably bring up emergency also. It's going to go...
We have apologized for the emergency issue.
All of these... No, I'm just saying we're talking about very specific... Yeah, Tom, come in.
Yes, many disconnected issues are being raised here. But I want to raise a specific issue. Hashtag Modi planning farmers genocide. When Twitter went on record of this, which government would stop and question this? This is a question of our sovereignty. This is a question of our governance. And if they do this kind of misinformation, they are bound to be questioned. And we did question them legitimately. Nobody was jailed. Nobody was raided. But believe me, Congress party has just found a new narrative, and they'll hang on till the cows come back. It can happen for 2 days, 3 days now. Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi will all jump into it. Spokesmen have disconnected views in the whole issue. They do not understand the fundamentals that you're raising, Shiv. What are we talking about?
I'm going to leave it there for the moment. You have your hand raised, Lavanya, so I'll give you the last 20 seconds.
I'll quickly say the hashtag Modi planning farmers genocide is not something that I have come across, but questioning...
I've seen it. It was there. Come on, Lavanya. Yeah. Don't be selective. No, Everyone saw that.
I'm not aware of this, but if
it was there. It was there.
I'm not supporting it. What I'm saying is, questioning an elected representative, even if he is the Prime Minister of this nation, is a fundamental right of every citizen.
Nobody is questioning that. Nobody is questioning that. You have every right. You must do it every day.
Tom Vadakan. I'm responding to Tom Vadakan.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Questioning.
No, but that's not what he was saying. I'm just saying. I think questioning the government should be something that happens more and more, much more sharply, much more specifically on the real issues. As a humble journalist who does not take sides, even though I'm sure everyone thinks I do, I am saying simply the issues need to be the right issues. The ammunition needs to be correct. And if you're firing off someone's shoulders, let it not be someone like a Jack Dorsey. He is damaged goods by every stretch of imagination, by his own peers, by people in Silicon Valley, by governments and democracies across the world. Let's not let ideology come in the way of the reality that stands before us. That's all I'm saying. Thank you very much, Lavanya and Tom, for joining me on this quick discussion, because Jack Dorsey is the new darling of India's pseudo-liberal wannabe anti-establishment brigade. He's the latest in a long list of dubious heroes embraced by a class of folks so spectacularly consistent in their hypocrisy, they're actually an example for the rest of the world, viewer. After posturing pompously and claiming to be a vanguard of free speech and liberalism for years, Jack Dorsey sold Twitter to someone who couldn't have possibly been more diametrically the opposite in terms of so-called ideological leaning. But Elon Musk's billions clearly softened the blow for Jacktivist Dorsey. Now, Jack emerges to claim that the Indian government not only made requests to censor specific accounts on Twitter during the farmer agitation, but that the homes of Twitter employees were raided. Now, the former allegation is well known, just as it is true with most large Twitter markets. The latter claim about raids on Twitter employees is 100% false. But why wouldn't anyone expect Jack Dorsey to exaggerate the specifics of a relationship that was well known to be abrasive and ill-tempered? When Dorsey visited India in 2018, a public relations disaster involving a poster on Brahminical patriarchy exposed just how disconnected and arrogant he was about one of the world's biggest social media markets. So I'm not surprised at all that Dorsey has now woken up in a mood to paint India as authoritarian as far as social media is concerned. But first, is Dorsey even right? Now, Dorsey's Twitter did initially comply with Indian government requests to withhold content on several occasions based on law and order considerations. During the farmer protests, Twitter complied with several censorship requests, but then went ahead and uncensored many of those accounts as well. This led to a notorious period of bad blood between the Indian government and Twitter. But as far as I can tell, Twitter wasn't and hasn't ever been shut down in India. Sure, the government may have threatened to do so in the absence of legal compliance. Why not? Because this same Jack Dorsey, now managing to whine and posture at the same time, remember, also deplatformed a former US president from Twitter. His passionate proclamations of free speech do not sit well with the many decisions Twitter has taken. Jack Dorsey, of course, never felt it necessary to say any of these things he now says when he was Twitter CEO. Somewhere, he's still in a bad mood, I think. I mean, how dare a third world market like India dictate to a Silicon Valley giant and read him the Riot Act and make him look a little stupid? In Jack Dorsey's relationship with India are threads of arrogance, racism perhaps, ignorance, hypocrisy, and a generous dose of having hit a wall that tech bros aren't really used to. They hate taking no for an answer. So I understand why Jack Dorsey needs to let off all this steam. We're taking a very quick break here on 5 Live. Coming up next, Prime Minister Modi, in a big interaction with new government employees, has taken the stage to launch an unexpected attack on the opposition just as the latter begins to consolidate ahead of 2024. That's next.
Bangalore-based EV startup Simple Energy has launched its first e-scooter. Simple One joins an increasingly populous market, which includes players like Ola, Ather, Vida, Hero Electric and Bajaj, among others. The company does not currently have any showrooms. The e-scooters have been priced at nearly 1.5 lakh rupees.
Strategy was very clear. We wanted to build a scooter which is super. And I think we have built that. It's in true sense of superior or super EV, which does range better, performance better, safety parameters better, riding statistics. Everything is mentored and checked upon. So I think our strategy was very clear on building a great product, and the consumers will take care of it. I think we have solved that piece of it. The second piece, I think we have focused on scaling our dealership, our manufacturing capacity, and I think that will resolve most of the issues going forward. I think there are two things about it. One is, of course, reducing subsidies might deter the growth, but that's very short term. I don't think that will impact much further on it. But also it will push the OEMs to become self-sustained and will build products which are more viable.
inequality today. In Delhi, 139. In Mumbai, 61. In Kolkata, 88. In Bengaluru, 54. In Chennai, 72. In Hyderabad, 64.
The opposition has begun to consolidate. Attempts are being made to unite for that big opposition front against the Modi Sarkar ahead of 2024. But Prime Minister Modi has now taken the opportunity to launch an all-out attack at different elements of this unifying opposition. He's called out corruption under previous governments, under the Congress, and also attacked Lalu Prasad, Mamta Banerjee and others in the opposition. It's the rate card versus safeguard fight that the Prime Minister has triggered. Take a look.
परिवारवादी पॉलिटिकल पार्टियों ने भाई भतीजावाद को बढ़ावा दिया। हर चीज में रेड कार्ड, हर चीज में कटमनी, उनका रास्ता है रेड कार्ड।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi fires another salvo at the opposition. While distributing 70,000 offer letters in the Rozgar Mela, Prime Minister Modi took pot shots at opposition parties for alleged corruption and nepotism that hurt the youth of the country.
एक राज्य में कैश फॉर जॉब के घोटाले की जांच में जो बातें बाहर निकल करके आई हैं, वो मेरे देश के नौजवानों के लिए बहुत बड़ा चिंता का विषय लेके आई है। उस राज्य का क्या पद्धति है, क्या बात उभर करके आई है? नौकरी सरकारी चाहिए तो हर पद के लिए, जैसे होटल में आप खाना खाए जाए और रेड कार्ड होता है ना, हर पद के लिए रेड कार्ड है।
In a direct attack on RJD Supremo Lalu Prasad Yadav and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee, Modi accused them of taking cash for jobs.
भाई भतीजावाद करने वाली वो पार्टियां, भ्रष्टाचार में रोजगार के नाम पर देश के नौजवानों को लूटने वाली पार्टियां, जो रेड कार्ड, हर चीज में रेड कार्ड, हर चीज में कटमनी, उनका रास्ता है रेड कार्ड। जबकि हम युवाओं के उज्जवल भविष्य को सेफ गार्ड करने पर काम कर रहे हैं।
Accusing past governments of dynastic politics, Modi claimed his rivals only favored their own families instead of putting the citizens' interest first.
हमारे देश में परिवारवादी पॉलिटिकल पार्टियों ने हर व्यवस्था में भाई भतीजावाद को बढ़ावा दिया। जब सरकारी नौकरी की बात आती थी तो उसमें ये परिवारवादी पार्टियां भाई भतीजावाद, सिफारिश और भ्रष्टाचार को ही बढ़ावा देती थी।
The Congress hit back at Modi, calling out rampant unemployment under him, saying offering job letters doesn't ensure job in hand. Modi's sharp attack on the opposition comes at a time when the opposition is trying to build a united front to fight the BJP in 2024. Low job creation is one of the key issues being raised by the opposition. Bureau Report, India Today.
Big attack. Minister right in the middle of a big effort by the opposition to consolidate and unify on the road to 2024. Let's go straight to our debate. Joining us live, Tom Vadakan of the BJP. I'd like to start with Advocate Mahima Singh, National Spokesperson of the Congress Party. Mahima, your reaction to what the Prime Minister just said. The occasion was to welcome 70,000 new government employees. The occasion was used to point a finger and attack several different opposition parties, including yours, the Trinamool, the RJD and others.
Jai Hind. We are used to these gimmicks of the Prime Minister. It's not at all shocking or surprising for us. What is, to be asked of the government today is, have they created any new jobs? We know that they are habitual of repackaging the successful policies of the erstwhile governments and take it to their own credit. But what we've just seen today is another feather in the cap of the Prime Minister, another slip of tongue. He's called a safeguard instead, and no correction, no remedification there. But he goes on to say that, there were rate card governments, now there is safeguard government. This is a desperate government that attempts to divulge, that attempts to distract, that attempts to evade questions. Okay. What we see is the Prime Minister beating his doldrums at these events where he comes to actually perform the job of a postman. It is the job of a postman to deliver these letters. But he comes to these, you see our leader, Mr. Jairam Ramesh, has tweeted today, and that's what he's asked. That what is he doing at these job fairs? He's delivering these 70,000 letters. Our president of the party, Mr. Kharge, has time and again questioned. There are 10 lakh vacancies at the center. What is the government doing with them? We know there were lakhs of vacancies in the railway department, and we've just seen one of the most horrifying disasters of at least this era in Odisha. Okay. So this government has a lot to answer. What it does instead is beat its own doldrums, sing its own name, sing its own stories.
So a gimmick and a desperate government taking every opportunity to, play politics, and Modi had no business being at this particular job fair, says the Congress Party spokesperson. Tom, respond.
Well, very interesting, detailing by this spokesman of the Congress Party. Let me first say that this rate card was discovered while a raid was on, and this is proof and smoking gun evidence of the Mamata regime collecting money, and sweepers and all. Salaries were, the rate card says something to the tune of 3 lakhs. Shiv, these are factual issues. Then the land for job, that is the Lalu Prasad dynasty. The kind of raids that were conducted and the land that was exchanged, no questions raised on that, because they are going to be in an alliance, I'm told. Now that apart, I have a new chapter to add. DMK, when they were in alliance with the Congress Party, the UPA, they also had a similar rate card. But the rate card was for transfers, getting job done. You go to a particular jeweler, you get the rate card, you pay the money, and you get the job done. Now, these are things that have been happening. And the Congress dispensation was looking the other way. Okay. And now they talk. Now, here's a Prime Minister at a function where he's delivering appointment letters for 70,000 people. And that's a proactive act. No, nothing about it. Why are those other unemployed? We are doing it. It's a work in progress. It doesn't happen in a day. And the Prime Minister is spot on when he says the dynasts have created such a havoc in our system that young people are just unemployed and have been unemployed for so
Mahima
long.
Singh, corruption was used by the Congress Party successfully as an issue in the Karnataka election to very good effect, given the result. Now the Prime Minister is using corruption to point out the Congress Party's hypocrisy amidst this attempt to unify the opposition. That's, that is what is being said here. Parivarvad and the corruption of these many elements within the opposition. And Tom says, how come the Congress is looking the other way?
I am appalled, Shiv. I am appalled because, but before that, let me just thank the BJP spokesperson for one statement he's just made. He said, nothing happens in a day. Thank you, sir, because yes, the fruits that you're reaping today have been borne by the trees, the seeds of which were sown decades ago by the erstwhile government. So thank you very much. Now, let me come to, the very relevant question here that I want to ask you, and I'll be very thankful if you can answer this on this show. What are the new jobs that the BJP government has created? Rather, it has kept the already existing posts vacant, and you come here in small shifts, 70,000 at a time, letters delivered by the government, by the Prime Minister, as a matter of a photo operation. Rather than showing the youth of this country who are desperately waiting for new jobs, rather than answering what are the new jobs that they have created.
Okay.
But you see the BJP spokesperson right now, he is coming and talking about dynasty just like his leader, just like our Prime Minister. So the dynasty politics, when this term comes, I am prompted to take the names of Jai Shah. I am prompted to name Ms. Vasundhara Raje. I am prompted to name Mr. Jyotiraditya Scindia. I am prompted to name the likes of Pankaj Singh, Devendra Fadnavis.
Yeah.
And I have a long, long list. I don't want to go on with that. So it would be better if the government stops at these gimmicks right away and starts answering, rather strategizing.
Almost out of time. Just enough time for a 30-second answer from Tom. Straight question from the Congress.
Tell the Congress spokesman that the infrastructure development across the country has attributed to the kind of jobs. We don't go into the numericals because we are not in the business of propaganda like they do. We have developed infrastructure across the country, the airports, the railways, the highways, and these are development activities. Medical colleges, I mean, believe me, there's the kind of medical colleges opened, institutions that have been opened up, and these are all opportunities.
I'm out
and
of time.
If you're still blind to it, then you're colorblind. I'm sorry.
Mahima, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Out of time.
At the cost of doubling the debt in this country, till 2014 it was 55 lakh crores. Today it stands at above 100 lakh crores.
Okay,
That's
I think
the cost of your infrastructure. No jobs, no revenue generation.
She's changing tracks. She was talking under
I think rate card. Okay, I'm out of time. Mahima and Tom, I'm out of time. I apologize. I'm out of time. I have to shut the show down for the moment. But I have a feeling that, the Prime Minister is leaving for the United States next week. And in the interim, rate card versus safeguard is going to become a political catchphrase that populates debates here on India Today and elsewhere. This is going to become the next big fight. We will get you the data, not just the he said, she said here on India Today. Thanks for watching 5 Live. 6 p.m. Prime with Akshita comes up next. The big focus on Cyclone Biparjoy is looming. 4 states on high alert. How bad is it going to get? Big focus next.
The WHO has put the spotlight on fake sugars, but artificial sweeteners has only been an ever-growing market in India, and outside increase in cases of diabetes and the growing burden of obesity world over has ensured that people turn to alternatives. The demand for low-calorie food and beverages have contributed to the market's expansion in India. For example, sugar-free Zydus Wellness's artificial sweetener brand witnessed double-digit growth last year in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic as consumers opted for a healthier lifestyle, shows data from 2021. The Indian artificial sweetener market is projected to reach a value of Indian rupee 12.23 billion by 2023, growing at a CAGR of 3.4% during the forecast period. Think about it. Stevia and other sweeteners are found in 1 million products. Colas, juices, chewing gum, chocolates, and everything that is being sold as sugar-free. It clearly has grown way beyond just tabletop sweeteners. In India, the artificial sweetener market has witnessed significant growth over the past decade. On a global scale, the market for artificial sweeteners has also experienced substantial growth. The global artificial sweetener market was valued at approximately $19 billion in 2020 and is expected to reach $28.9 billion by 2028. The Food Safety and Standards Authority of India said it's evaluating the new guideline issued last week by the World Health Organization, but strong advisories against them is unlikely. With Brijesh Vashisht, Bureau Report, India Today.
Voltas Pure Air 6-stage adjustable AC. Ajio Big Bold Sale.
Cyclone Biparjoy looms. Four states on high alert.
Warning has been issued for the seafront. The fishermen are also asked not to venture out in the sea.
Over 20,000 evacuated. Heavy rains lash western coast.
जो कंडला पोर्ट है उसको फिलहाल बंद कर दिया गया है। प्रवाह 15 तारीख को आना है, लेकिन उससे पहले जो तेज हवाएं हैं वो यहाँ पे शुरू हो चुकी हैं। साथ ही समुद्र में ऊंची लहरें भी उठ रही हैं।
India Today tracks Cyclone Biparjoy. Our top focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, and this evening we're going to be getting you all the details you need to know about Cyclone Biparjoy. Massive preparations that are underway in the ground. If 48 hours from now, this cyclone will be making landfall. And here on India Today, we're putting our focus on the story to tell you all about the preparations and also the advice given by experts for all those living along the west coast. We'll be telling you all about the cyclone and much, much more on this edition of 6 p.m. Prime. Here are the headlines first. Congress targets centre over ex-Twitter CEO's comments as Twitter asked to block critical voices. The government hits back, says Twitter is in non-compliance with Indian law.
That Twitter was in violation of Indian law, laid down Indian law from 2020 to 2022. They were repeatedly reminded that they were in violation of the law. But they were not raided, they were not sent to jail, no employee of Twitter was raided, no employee of Twitter was sent to jail.
Prime Minister Modi lashes out at opposition at the Rozgar Mela, compares rate card party versus safeguard party, also launches Parivarwad attack on the opposition. Violence, clashes and showdown over Panchayat polls in Bengal. Fresh clashes erupted in Bardhaman and South 24 Parganas. BJP versus ally Shinde Sena in Maharashtra over newspaper ad showing Eknath Shinde as chosen CM in 2024. Shinde Sena denies printing ads, says Shinde's supporter published it.
After IT raids, ED heat on Tamil Nadu Minister Senthil Balaji in jobs for cash scam in 2014. Properties related to Balaji raided. Chief Minister Stalin accuses BJP of misusing central agencies. And all eyes are on Modi US visit. US President Joe Biden to host Prime Minister Modi for an intimate dinner during his visit. And let's begin with breaking news that's coming in from Tamil Nadu. Amid all of the questions about a rift between the BJP and the AIADMK, Tamil Nadu BJP chief Annamalai has now responded to all of the allegations that the AIADMK has levelled against him, including passing a resolution against him. Annamalai now has hit back at the AIADMK, all of whom have questioned him and whether he knows enough about this alliance. He said very clearly that I know what it takes to ensure that there is an alliance. He says, I know the alliance dharma. No one needs to teach me on how to treat alliance party leaders. I only said what had happened in Tamil Nadu politics. I stated facts. So Annamalai isn't going to apologize at this point to the AIADMK. He is making that much very, very clear. The AIADMK has passed a resolution against him. He's even responded to D. Jayakumar, who lashed out at Annamalai, saying this was an immature statement. He said, I don't want to resort to the kind of name-calling that Jayakumar, the AIADMK leader, has. Pramod Madhav is joining us with more details on this. Pramod, scathing retort from Annamalai. He's not backing off. He's not going to apologize to the AIADMK. What does this mean really for the alliance going forward?
It absolutely is, Akshita, because this is a three-page statement that has come out from Annamalai, and this has occurred almost after 24 hours of reactions from AIADMK, starting with D. Jayakumar, who called him immature, who said that his comments are immature and he should not have spoken like this regarding Jayalalitha. But Annamalai, he only says that he has spoken about what has occurred in the history of Tamil Nadu. That's how the politics of Tamil Nadu, and he claims that if there is any mistake, he's ready to accept that his fault and apologize. But someone has to show what mistake he has done in that particular interview. And not just that, he claims that he is working as per his conscience and he's not here for any short-term benefits, and he wants to be in politics for the next 30 years. Now it is up to AIADMK to decide, because several leaders came out. It was complete lashing out against AIADMK. C.V. Shanmugam even claimed that if BJP does not want to be in the alliance, they should have quit long time back. Annamalai should have quit long time back. And why is he still stuck to AIADMK? That's what C.V. Shanmugam spoke today morning, similar to the tunes of D. Jayakumar. And right now it's up to EPS to decide what should be done, because Annamalai has made it very clear that this is a statement, and he apparently, only if someone can show or prove that what he has said is wrong, he will apologize.
Will the central leadership now intervene, Pramod? Because what's at stake is the alliance between the AIADMK and the BJP. With Annamalai making it very clear he's not going to apologize, and what he stated is merely facts from Tamil Nadu politics, from what's happened previously. You had Jayakumar already saying that he wants Amit Shah, he wants JP Nadda to intervene to save this alliance between the AIADMK and the BJP. Is that likely to happen now, because things aren't going well?
Akshita, for the past 3 months, things have been not going well between AIADMK and BJP. In fact, at one point, EPS went ahead and said, don't ask me anything about Annamalai, because I don't want to talk about a person who just tries to garner publicity by saying unnecessary statements. That's how EPS actually lashed out against Annamalai. But everything came under a control after EPS went to Delhi. There was a meeting with Home Minister, and even Annamalai was present along with EPS and various other leaders. After that, there was no kind of issue within AIADMK. But Annamalai still maintained that he is not happy with Dravidian parties giving money and corruption for votes, cash for votes in particular. He even spoke to us earlier. He made it very clear that Dravidian parties are involved. He did not say just DMK, but he said Dravidian parties, which also includes AIADMK. Of course, AIADMK did not react at that point, but right now he has made a sharp comment, especially about a chief minister who got convicted for corruption, and now AIADMK has to go through a statement, and perhaps EPS has to decide on it.
All right, so we'll see how this plays out, but very clearly things are going from bad to worse as far as the AIADMK BJP battle is concerned. Will the central leadership step in? To give you some context here, what triggered this fight? Annamalai reportedly in an interview had spoken about Jayalalitha being convicted in a corruption case, the DA, the disproportionate assets case. The AIADMK took offence to it, saying Annamalai has spoken in an immature manner. They demanded an apology. They passed a resolution against him. The Tamil Nadu BJP chief has refused to back off, saying very clearly, at this point, I have spoken what's happened in Tamil Nadu political history. I will stick to my conscience. I will continue this kind of politics. He says, I know all about alliance dharma. What will this mean for the AIADMK BJP ties? Well, we'll wait and watch. Thanks for the moment, Pramod, for joining us. All right, let's switch focus to our top story this evening on 6 p.m. Prime. We're getting you all the details you need to know on the extremely severe Cyclone Biparjoy. And let's get you the latest images that are coming in right now. The Met Department has sounded both orange and red alerts across several areas in Gujarat ahead of Biparjoy's landfall. This includes Devbhoomi Dwarka, that's currently witnessing high tidal waves and strong winds along coastal areas. With preparations to combat the cyclone impact in full swing, Gujarat police has now been deployed near the coast in Gujarat's Navsari to prevent people from venturing into the sea. Tragic news from Mumbai, where 5 children aged 12 to 16 were washed away at the Juhu beach amid the high tides due to the cyclone. 1 child is rescued, 2 have drowned unfortunately, and 2 are still missing. Lifeguards have been deployed at Mumbai's Juhu beach to ensure that the public doesn't venture into the sea as high tidal waves hit the coast due to the cyclone. Access to beaches and seafronts has been banned. These are images that we're getting to you of 50 personnel stranded on the jackup rig Key Singapore being operating off Dwarka coast, being rescued in operation by the Indian Coast Guard. So as we speak, massive preparations are underway. Less than 48 hours to go for the cyclone to make landfall, and it's expected to hit somewhere between Saurashtra and Kutch, which is why in low-lying areas along these coastal areas, over 20,000 people have been pulled out, moved to relief camps. They've been evacuated from their homes. The NDRF has already been deployed there. Massive preparations that are underway as the central government is very closely working with the state governments right now.
Cyclone Biparjoy has weakened from extremely severe to very severe cyclonic storm. But it is still capable of inflicting damage when it makes landfall in Kutch on Thursday. Strong winds are lashing the coastal districts of Gujarat and the sea is turbulent. The centre and the state government are taking no chances. Over 20,000 people have been evacuated.
कुल मिला के समंदर के तट पे 5 किलोमीटर में अंदर आते हुए 38 गांव और 10 किलोमीटर के अंदर आते हुए 44 गांवों को खास तौर पे हमने उसके जो नीचे के क्षेत्र में रहने वाले जो लोग हैं ऐसे 4400 से ज़्यादा परिवारों को शिफ्ट करने की कामगिरी समाप्त की गई है.
The cyclone has thrown the lives of fishermen out of gear.
यहाँ पे जो हवामान का बहुत काफ़ी समय से सुनाई दे रहा है कि हवामान आने वाला है, इसलिए सब फिशरमैन सबकी बोटें बंद कर दिए और सब जगह पे सेव कर दिए.
The Indian Coast Guard evacuated 50 personnel from an oil rig located 40 km off Dwarka coast in an overnight operation amid inclement weather conditions. As a precautionary measure, operations at the Kandla post are shut and the crew evacuated. With no movement of containers, hundreds of trucks are stranded at Gandhidham. 17 teams from the NDRF and 12 SDRF are deployed to disaster-prone areas. Police personnel are stationed at the seafront to ensure civilians don't venture into the sea. The army is on standby in Bhuj with relief and rescue material ready.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah held a high-level meet to review preparedness in 6 coastal districts.
सामान्य चेतावनी प्रोटोकॉल के लिए जितनी भी चीजें तय की गई थी, ये सभी पूर्ण है। तटीय सायरन के साथ पीओसी प्रगति पर है, बाकी सारे काम पूर्ण किए गए हैं।
Strong winds also lashed Mumbai. Lifeguards are deployed at all beaches. Unfortunately, 5 children aged 12 to 16 were washed away as they ignored warnings and snuck out to Juhu Beach on Monday night. When Cyclone Biparjoy makes landfall, winds up to 195 km per hour are expected to hit the coast. Met Department has warned cyclone might cause extensive damage. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's get you now a live tracker of Cyclone Biparjoy. 48 hours it will make landfall. Here's the movement of the storm that we're tracking right now. You can see here that the eye of the storm is far away right now from the coast. It's going to take another 48 hours for this to really move into the land, into hitting the top of Gujarat, North Gujarat, as well as into Pakistan. Now, what the Met Department has said is that the movement of the cyclone itself has considerably slowed down. So they're saying that June 15th is when it'll make landfall. And let me show that to you as well, what the path looks like right now in the coming hours, how it's going to be moving forward. This right here is the path of the cyclone that I'm showing you. It's going to be moving, slightly curving up there and hitting right here at this part of Gujarat. Saurashtra, Kutch region is going to feel the maximum impact of the cyclone, and you can see as it moves closer and closer towards land, the eye of the storm starts weakening. But it's when this particular part of the system hits right there that you'll see the maximum brunt, which is expected on Thursday at 11 a.m. And then as it keeps moving forward, it'll keep weakening, the system will weaken, and then you can expect that the rainfall reduces. But right up here, when it hits on 15th, the impact of the storm will be felt at the maximum, with wind speeds reaching 190 kilometers per hour. Let me open this up, bring in our reporters on the ground who've been getting us every update that's coming in on the impact of the cyclone so far. Brijesh Doshi is joining us live from Dwarka in Gujarat. We have Ashutosh joining us live from Gujarat as well. And we have Dev Kotak, who's joining us from the Gateway of India in Mumbai, because Mumbai too is feeling right now the impact of this cyclone. Brijesh, if I can come across to you first, you've been reporting for the last 2 days for us on the impact of the cyclone. 2 days to go for landfall, but I hear already there's been heavy rains, wind speeds have been picking up.
Yeah, actually, the rainfall has started, and from the last night here. Right now, I'm at the Okha port, which is extremely right to the Dwarka, and here is the preparation going on by the Indian Coast Guard. Minister of State Home Harsh Sanghvi is visiting the Coast Guard station and Coast Guard jetty. So they are reviewing the preparations done by the Indian Coast Guard. So if there will be any kind of situation occur where cyclone may hit or cyclone may pass through Okha or Dwarka, so Indian Coast Guard is ready for any kind of rescue operation. Every possible steps has been taken by the government of Gujarat and Union government. So by the video conference, Union Home Minister Amit Shah has already advised all the authorities to take the necessary steps to avoid any kind of casualties. The motto is that there will be very less or minimize casualties done because of this cyclone. Next 24 to 40 hours are the crucial for the Gujarat coastal areas. Dwarka the cyclone may pass through Dwarka, and it will stay away from the Dwarka around 100 to 150 kilometers. It will reach to on 15th June to Kutch and Kutch Jakho port. So right now this is the Okha port. Heavy wind is going on, but the sea is very calm and silent right now.
Okay.
But the situation may may increase. Or,
it's the calm before the storm in the seas. It's going to get very choppy, which is why there have been multiple advisories and warnings saying the public must not venture anywhere close to beaches right now. Ashutosh is also joining us live right now from Mandavi in Gujarat. Ashutosh, good evening. Take us through what you see around you. It's great to see that, it's nearly 72 hours before the cyclone itself. You had all the authorities out there on the ground ensuring all precautionary steps are taken in preparation for the cyclone.
The state, Akshita, was quite prepared, and having known that just 3 years ago there was a similar cyclonic situation in the western part, particularly in the area of Junagadh, Jamnagar and Porbandar, Dwarka, which was worse affected even then. But this time the extensive, because as it is expected, the wind speed could be even up to 135 km per hour. So that potentially will bring really, tragic images. So what I see here, indeed not really very much rough sea, but clearly this is what you see in the Mandavi, the creeks and the opening of that, you see the ocean part. So all these fishermen have been advised to just go around. It's been 3 days, there is no activities that's taking place as far as fishermen communities are concerned. From the administration, including the NDRF, SDRF, every preparation is being done. Probably tomorrow afternoon there will be electricity supply disrupted, and that is true, of course, when there are high wind speed, that will potentially cause further disruption. So all these preventive measures taking place. Those people evacuated from the low-lying areas have been taken to the safer places. But as the eye of the storm getting closer, it is likely to bring literally havoc. Having known that this Jakhu region and this Mandavi, this closer part of Mundra, Jakhu, Mandavi, which becomes close, very close in proximity of the eye of that storm. So this is where, it is expected to create more havoc. However, indeed, all these administrative preparations being done. We have already shown the report that how the center is taking, minute by minute updates. State is engaged in all these machinery, be the NDRF or the state machineries. So all since the precautionary measure being taken and it is learned from the previous experiences, one could really anticipate and one pray that there will be probably lesser damage to the public properties. Of course, since the people have already been evacuated, but even at the moment we speak, in the low-lying areas, the announcements are from the civic agencies being made, appealing people to go to the safer places, and those arrangements have made. So yes, when we will see the pre-impact of the cyclone that is likely to begin from tomorrow. Since this morning there have been torrential rainfalls. The wind speed is quite above the normal at the moment.
Yeah. We can see that in your frame as well. Let's take this across also to Dev Kotak, who's joining us live from Mumbai, because Dev, there's also an alert issued for the state of Maharashtra, particularly for the city of Mumbai. Has there been any impact of the cyclone felt so far, and how bad is it going to get when the cyclone really makes landfall in Mumbai?
Well, yes, as far as Mumbai is concerned, first let me tell you that the cyclone is not going to make a massive impact now, because it has further advanced into the Arabian Sea and is on its way to Gujarat and further up towards Pakistan post that. But however, a strong gusts of wind were felt, and yesterday certain shanties, their rooftops were also blown apart. So which is why IMD also said that have a sturdy house material that you can use in its building or construction that doesn't get easily blown away or swept away. In fact, as speaking of the impact, despite the government advisory for young boys, rather teenagers, drowned at the Juhu beach when they were out on a picnic. In fact, their dead bodies were retrieved by around afternoon today. So you can really gauge the intensity of the impact. These boys, they were in fact even warned by the lifeguard to not venture in, and they ignored all the warnings. Despite that, they went. The 5 of them got pulled away in just one wave itself, being dragged for almost about half a kilometer into the sea. However, one was saved just in time. A fisherman jumped in. So you can really imagine and understand the intensity.
And that's why it's important. That's why it's important to really follow the advisories and the alerts issued by authorities, warning everyone to stay away from beaches right now amid the high waves, the high tides that have been reported. Our prayers, of course, and hopes that there will be the rescue of those 2 others. But looks at this point very, very faint. But we will track the latest on that. Thanks, Dave. Thanks to Ashutosh and Brijesh for joining us as well. Stay safe out there. Let's tell you about the worst affected parts right now, the parts that will face the brunt of the cyclone. You're going to be seeing Saurashtra, which has been issued an orange alert by the Met Department. This is an orange alert for heavy rains, and this is for the next 48 hours, including the moment when the cyclone makes landfall. Besides that, other parts, North Gujarat, which is where the maximum impact will be felt, in the Kutch region also, an orange alert has been issued by the Met Department. Which other part is on alert right now? Well, according to the Met Department, the Rajkot district also, which is close to the Saurashtra region, there too, there will be an impact of the cyclone. So it's in these areas really that you have the NDRF also being deployed, being put on standby. Besides that, the other parts of Gujarat that are also on alert are some interior pockets where there could be heavy rains, but it's largely along the coastal belt of Gujarat that you see right now a high alert for cyclone, and orange alert that's been issued by the Met Department. Morbi also is another district where there's an alert issued by the Met Department. Let's quickly, in fact, run you through all the other districts as well. Junagadh, close to Saurashtra region, where the Met Department has predicted there will be heavy rains. Devbhoomi in Dwarka, this is where the maximum impact will be felt. Porbandar as well. So you can see that it is the districts that are lined up along the coast that you've got the biggest alert being issued, the highest level of alert being issued by the Met Department. And let's get you a report that's been filed by my colleague Gopi Manyar from the exact spot in coastal Gujarat where you will be seeing the cyclone making landfall. The exact spot where the Met Department says the maximum brunt of the cyclone will be felt.
जो बिपोरजॉय साइक्लोन है वो यहाँ पे 15 तारीख की दोपहर में टकराने वाला है। जिस तरीके से मौसम विभाग ने बताया है, यहाँ पे करीब 150 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटे की रफ्तार के साथ ये साइक्लोन जो है वो इसी पोर्ट से टकराता हुआ आगे जाएगा और इसकी जो रफ्तार है ये काफ़ी तेज़ रहेगी। जो चौड़ाई है, ये चौड़ाई माना जा रहा है कि मांडवी से लेकर जो पाकिस्तान का कराची है, क्योंकि